Yeah, it's spectacular coming to upstate New York. Watkins Glen has a heritage and a pedigree in motorsport all the way back to Formula One Grand Prix.
I think it's an amazing track. It embodies everything that old school American tracks are about. You know, it's high risk, high reward.
I don't think there are a lot of places where you find such evenly matched GT cars all racing together, and it really leaves the emphasis on the driver. You're really hitting your marks. It's a little bit like a routine where you've done it so many times, it's second nature. You're just trying to be consistent, and anything that does come up that's sort of unexpected, being able to recover from that disruption and get right back down to your routine is key.
You know, all we want to do is execute our race and let the race come to us. You want to hand over the car in the condition that you would like to receive it. That's sort of a basic to co-driving, because in the end, both need to be performing and doing their best.
The best advice to give to the drivers is to stay calm. Any kind of panic erupts, that's usually when execution fails. 4.6 mil. The biggest thing we try to do is have a routine and keep a rhythm. So everything's the same on the radio, call into the pits, the pit approach, the driver's change. We try to keep them in a calm, smooth rhythm, and that usually works pretty well. Sure. This is a 991 Porsche GT3R. It has a 4-liter naturally aspirated engine, 6-speed, sequential gearbox, Cosworth ICD display, and it also has a Bosch radar camera system. So it has different color codes for the car class it's racing against, and it also has like location arrows and gives you distance feedback of how close the car is. So in endurance racing, if you have a contact or a touch with another car, there's no really vulnerable parts in the corners of the front bumper, because that would put you out of a race. If you have a contact, like on a cup car, if you get a contact on the fender, you can have a radiator damage, and then your race is over. But in this car, it's made to take a few beats and bangs and still finish the race. The brakes are PFC brakes. They're similar diameter and design to the street car. They're just designed to run longer and be more durable, right? So it has like a monoblock caliper made of aluminum, a steel rotor, similar to what you would find on a performance street car. The dampers and the suspension components are made by KW, and they have what they call 3-way valving. You have a high-speed compression, a low-speed compression, and a rebound adjustment. So basically when the shock goes into oscillation, the high-speed adjustment is for a high velocity or a fast movement. A low-speed adjustment is for a slower or rolling movement. And then the rebound is how it controls as it releases. The next main component of this car in particular is the fuel cell. So it has what they call a dry brake fuel system. When you engage and release, it seals automatically. So you have to depress this with a probe in order to get the fuel to flow in, and as soon as you pull out of the probe, that's spring-loaded to seal, so to avoid any fuel leak or spillage or potential fire hazards. The steering wheel, obviously itself is a pretty basic steering wheel, but it has all your controls on it. It has your traction control, your engine mapping, pit speed button, all that is on the display itself on the wheel. Most of the cars, like in the FIA and the WEC, have air conditioning, which is going to become mandated also for this level moving forward, but we don't have AC. So the air management inside the car for us is very, very important. So like I said, it's going to be mid to high 90s tomorrow. You know, probably in the cockpit it'll be 140, 150. So with the, getting the air moving, get that back down to 125 or 130 is significant for the driver. So depending on the car make and type, inside the air box here, there is a FIA mandated air restrictor. The minimum dimension on the inside is what determines the restrictor size, and we're set to like a 40 millimeter restrictor, for example, in this championship. That's their attempt to balance the cars in the class. If you were to say take the restrictors out of the engine, it would make in excess of 60 or 70 more horsepower. All the bodywork componentry on this car is made out of composite carbon fiber. So the front bumper cover, the splitter, the dive planes, the fenders, the doors, the quarter panel, wing are all composite carbon fiber. The hood, and in the case of damage or incident in the race, We have every component on the car as a quick change item. So if you get hit in the rear and you have to change an upright or suspension, we have a pre-fitted corner that bolts on the car, and that can be done in the pit lane in a matter of minutes and keep your race alive.
This field is so competitive. It's a sprint race. It doesn't matter how long the race is. Everybody's going for it all the time.
Us drivers, we're just focusing on driving, doing our best. The team are really the ones making the calls at that point, and we're in good hands.
You can't control the pace of the other drivers. You can't control the pace of the race, but what you can do is try to maximize what you have with your car and your team.
We do the 12 hours of Sebring, we do the 24 hours of Daytona, so 6 hours is relatively short.
Now it's becoming more and more like a sprint. From the green light, we're going to be flat out.
Really about strategy in a 6-hour race. Every lap you're pushing, but when you take tires and when you take fuel, when you change drivers. You come into endurance racing, you're sharing the car with 2, 3, 4 people, so it really brings that element of team back into the scenario. When the results do come, there's a real camaraderie and a real celebration. Motorsport brings out emotion, it brings out ego. As it comes down to the wire, it's really you challenging yourself or keeping yourself at bay. I'd be lying if I said it wasn't difficult to manage a lot of that. Pressure and speed and risk is all there, and it does make for a long day mentally.
There's definitely more lows than there's highs in racing, but I think that's what makes the highs so special and that you really remember and makes you want to keep going. We're not just focusing on the end goal. We have plenty of sub-goals that we need to execute correctly to get to the point where we want to be and have the best result possible.
We're a team through and through. I mean, when we're done working, you know, we'll go eat together, we'll go have beers at the bar together. I mean, don't want to sound like a cliche, but it is ultimate team sport, you know.